So, Lick, you want to hear a story? I can tell you a few. I've had a couple of turns around the wheel, things happen. We all have made mistakes in our time. I can understand why you might come to me. I mean, after all, you'd want my opinion, wouldn't you? It's refreshing. It's refreshing to know that you know your place. So, how about if I explain to you that you're not all that alone? You're really not. No, 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 no. I don't want you to think that you are. So how about I end up spinning you a little yarn, give you a little taste of my own few bits, a indiscretion, if you will. I was probably only maybe 30 or 40 years into my embrace. I know that's hard to believe, right? I mean, anything back in the 1800s must be pretty hard for you to fathom, but try and stay with me. There was this pianist that I really adored. I saw all of his performances ever since he was just playing at a church to him honing his skills. I knew there was something there. It was a beautiful thing. It was that that special something. You hear it. It's almost like it drifts in the wind. Oh, young Eric. Followed him from time to time. Made sure that everyone knew where he was performing and tried to elevate him. You know, it's you see that potential. It was a thing that here it really was. You could just lose yourself in the music. But life happens. He tried to end up becoming a performer, but instead ended up working, splitting wood. Those hands of his going to waste, those soft hands that were more set for white gloves than they were ever designed for an axe. So I ended up looking into it a little bit more. I mean, why would he stop playing? He wasn't terrible. He was beautiful. He was magnifique. So then I end up finding out. Isn't it always the way with distractions? Wife and child. They tell me that you never fully understand life until you've given it. Can't make the same boast of never really taken a child, but I've taken his. No distractions. You can't afford to have distractions, not to leave something like that to waste. I haven't heard him peak yet. His art, that magnificence, that I can only. When I close my eyes, I can hear it. I can still smell the church the first time I saw him. So, unfortunately, he needed my help, and I helped him. Distractions sometimes need to be managed by an outside force, a guiding hand, and I loved that man. So, unfortunately, his distractions had to go. That was his wife, that was his baby daughter. Year and a half, I think. I really stopped paying attention at that point on what they looked like. What does a newborn look like these days? Side thought. and a sad thought. I ended up taking both of them out into the woods, and I made sure that he would never want to see that wood-splitting axe again when I ended up putting it into the back of her head and then cast the baby against the stone. No, I want you to relax. Enjoy yourself. After all, it's just a story. I was really hoping that with that small action, he would get back to focus, but instead he turned to grief. An old fan showing up, though, might be just the ticket. I helped him, and despite the depressed state, fully understandable, he started to write again. It was woeful. It would bring tear to my eye if I'd allow such embarrassments. But it wasn't what was there beforehand. It was, instead of passion, it was coping. And it was waste. Those hands were being wasted again. He was trying to gain on track. I knew he needed to be motivated. So, he only had so much time left. Life's fleeting that way. And I knew he needed to be completely free of distractions. That's why I helped him move in. First into the guest quarters, and the piano was set in the lounge. And I would hear him try and play, and then scribble out all that work that would take weeks, months even. It wasn't fair. I couldn't get him to play again. Not like he did. So I wanted to see it. I wanted to make sure that it was free, but then he wouldn't even look at the piano. It was like he was sick of it. The only thing I could think of was, what have I done? No. I've become the distraction. That's what I thought at the time. It didn't dawn on me until he was chained in the basement to that piano, and when he was crying, saying, "Let me go." I think I kept him down there for 4 months. He started to starve himself in the end. I had to force food down his throat just to keep him going. And then I realized that he was embarrassing me. He was mocking me and my efforts to try and end up making him better. And it wasn't fair, all that time I put into him to help him realize his gift, bring it up. So instead, I started to take the bolt cutters to his fingers, and each one I took off, and then slurped all that sanguine wine out of each one of them. It was like oysters, really. And as his digits fell to the floor one after another, and he was crying for any degree of mercy, I realized he was not good enough to just pass on because of an embarrassment like that. No. You know where he is now? He's still in that basement. He's still there, chained down. Really not much more than a torso right now. He's been like that for more years than he cares to count. I don't even think he understands the concept of years anymore. He's really just there to heal up into a torso with a head. And then every so often, when I want to hear him play, I ricochet his head off of the keys. That's the sound he hears. I never say a word to him. He's never hurt anybody in quite a few decades now. Why am I telling you this? It's real simple. Don't let your passions get the better of you. Passion makes the Toreador. Beauty is what we find all over. But don't let it distract you. In the end, all they do is embarrass you.